Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz right here on the Woodward Sports Network. We are about 50 some odd hours away from the NFL draft taking place in downtown Detroit. My name is Stick. That is Anson Wells. Maz is here. Pete is here. And so is Mike, our sound guy. And we got to introduce our next guest. I mean, we talked to him a little, I think it was last year we were able to talk to him, Maz. The last time I was on with you guys. Dave Beechnaw, part of the big push to get the NFL draft into Detroit and what this means for the economy, what this means for the city. And you are looking clean and sexy, sir. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. I got some bags under my eyes right now, I think, but I appreciate the compliment.
A lot of parties, Dave. A lot of parties. I know.
Yeah, building up to this logistically, how do you even comprehend where to start into bringing something of this volume to Detroit? Because we've had the Super Bowl here. And that was many, many years ago when Detroit really didn't have the infrastructure it does now. But now to be able to present the city to the NFL and be super proud of the product that we can deliver them, how does that feel and how does that all start?
Oh, it feels awesome. First of all, it starts, when you think about it too, the draft is such a unique event in that, we're not dropping a game into a stadium. We're literally building out a 2,500 seat theater at Campus Martius Park. And so literally, building out a small village within the downtown core, it's more than a notion when you start to think about road closures and implications of local businesses and everything else. And so, it's been a process for sure. We've been, in lockstep with the NFL for the better part of 12 months now, through the planning process. They started to build out the theater. I think it was March 29th or 30th, they started to move in. And so it's all coming together. And, I've been walking around a little bit and it's, there's a lot of energy and a lot of excitement right now.
The biggest question around Woodward Sports seems to be parking.
No
Well, you got any cheat codes of where people can park this weekend?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, first of all, if you plan to park downtown, I would buy your parking in advance.
Yep.
And if you can't, I would recommend going to one of the park and ride locations. We're running Q line from Midtown, Wayne State. And the one thing that people absolutely need to do is download the NFL One Pass to their phone if they haven't already done that, and then register. Because on the One Pass, it literally has everything and anything you need to know about the draft, the events, how to get around, transportation, and everything related to their experience. And that's where to start. And then from that, they're also going to need that in order to get into the footprint on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I also want to remind people that the draft is 3 days. Yep. Thursday's the big night, of course, round one. But bring the family down on Friday, Saturday. Enjoy the experience because the experience is going to be the same as it is on Thursday night, as it will be on Friday and Saturday. And it's, it's a once in a decade event that we're hosting here in the city. And, I'm just so proud to play a small part of it. And I just want everybody in our community to enjoy it.
Talking to Dave Beechnaw, the executive director for the Detroit Sports Commission. Ton of events going on, ton of cool activations. Was there one thing that stuck out where you're like, okay, I can't miss this thing?
Well, it's unique in that, it's not a game, right? You don't have two teams competing. And I think the cool thing about the draft itself, having been to the last three, is that you're going to see jerseys from all 32 teams here. And that's what makes it fun and unique. And then I think, just the draft experience, seeing the Lombardi Trophy, all of the different displays that the fans will be able to enjoy. And then outside the footprint, because at some point, especially on Thursday, we're likely going to reach capacity. And so we wanted to make sure that everyone had the opportunity to feel like they're a part of it. And so Downtown Detroit Partnership is activating Grand Circus Park, Beacon Park, and there are several other locations around the downtown core that will have, food trucks, F&B, big screens to watch the draft live and really take it all in. And it's more than just the foot itself. It's an entire downtown activation. I think that's what's unique. And I think that's really what's opened the eyes of the NFL is the interest that our Detroiters have in this event. And then when you layer in, 6 NFL markets within a 2 to 5 hour drive, we think that we're going to have a huge influx of out of towners this coming weekend.
Hey, Dave, I've been down there a few times already. Took the family down a couple of different days, and the way it's laid out right now, the fences are all up. Will a lot of those fences be taken down? Because it kind of makes you feel like a little hamster right now, trying to get around, trying to get through the streets. Just walking, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think the fences are going to remain. That's part of the secured perimeter. From a security standpoint, but there are three entrances to the footprint itself. And, again, go to the NFL One Pass. You'll be able to see where those entrances are located. But again, it's just all a part of it. Just like any major event, you've got to have some checks and balances,
sure,
and security measures in place. And, to just be able to take in all of the fans that are going to be coming in and control that environment.
Of course. Hey, what's going on at Hart Plaza? I have not made it down that way. What will be taking place there? Because I know the stage is in Campus Martius. What do we expect at Hart Plaza?
Yeah, that's the NFL draft experience. So again, those are the displays of the Super Bowl rings, the trophies. There's some photo opportunities with the NFL uniforms and different opportunities like that. And then at the corner ballpark, there's additional NFL experiences for the kids to run the 40-yard dash, kick field goals, those sorts of things. So again, Corktown is a part of this footprint as well, and the NFL is activating the corner ballpark out there as well.
That's awesome. So you get a little taste of the old Tiger Stadium too. That's so cool that you guys are incorporating.
You get a little Corktown action.
Yeah, I love that. Anson?
Right. Yeah, Dave. I know that we're focused on the draft here, but Detroit has become a little bit spoiled in the last 20 years. Prior to that, basically, we had the Super Bowl at the Pontiac Silverdome. So I don't want to go past this weekend too much, but what are you bringing to us Detroiters next? Are you I mean, I know we're probably not
breathe first.
Yeah, I know we're probably not a Summer Olympics destination, but maybe an NBA All-Star game or an actual Final Four finals here.
2 years.
Final Four finals, 2027.
That's fantastic.
NCAA Final Four will be here in Detroit at Ford Field. And, we continue to work on some other things. We got some things up our sleeve. I hope to get some good news here soon on a couple of things we've been chasing. But I think, the draft has really we've been able to build some momentum with the announcement that the draft is coming to Detroit. Very similar to the early 2000s when the Super Bowl was a catalyst for that run of major events we had, in the early decade there. And so, maybe Big Ten's in our future, whether it be football or the basketball tournament. We would love to be in the rotation for that. You mentioned the NBA All-Star game. I think that is certainly on the radar of the Detroit Pistons, which we would certainly work with them in any bid process. And, we'll see what else the future brings. But again, there's just so much momentum in our community right now in the city, and it just feels so much different than it did back in the early 2000s. And that's what really, I think, is really the difference today from then.
Yeah, that kind of leads exactly into this next question I wanted to ask you. I'm sure early on when you were pitching Detroit about 20 years ago for big events, the reception from the people hearing that pitch probably wasn't as excited. Now that Detroit has become more of a metropolitan area, when you pitch these things, are the ears bending a little bit different now?
Absolutely. And, the key for us is to get them here to see it firsthand. And, I don't know how many times I've heard, I had no idea. And that's what really makes our job easier when we can get them here the first time. And, a lot of these processes include a site visit. And so, when the men's basketball committee for the NCAA came here, it was very similar. Wow, I had no idea. And so that's the key for us and I think too, we've been so much more collaborative as a city. We have an advisory board called the Detroit Sports Organizing Corp, and guys like Rod Wood, Arn Tellem, Mike Tirico, and others that are really working collaboratively and strategic, and they're able to pick up the phone and make calls to decision makers or those who can influence those types of decisions. And really it gives instant credibility, I think, to what we're doing as an organization, but as a city overall.
So you say when you bring people here for the first time and you show them stuff, what's the number one thing? What's the first thing you show them when you come to Detroit? Because I know when I have out-of-town guests, I take them by the Motown Museum, then I'll drive them by the train station, then I'll take them to the Belle Isle Aquarium and just kind of do that loop around the city. What's your benchmark to take those people to?
Well, I think it's bringing them right to the center and the heart of downtown, and that's become Campus Martius Park, and you can just feel the energy and the vibrancy of a downtown core and city. And I think that's what really has raised some eyebrows with people, and how the development investment has really taken our city to a whole nother level, with obviously Dan Gilbert, what he's done, and the Illich organization over the years, and they've been really invested for a long time. And so I think that's really been the key. We've got new hotels that have opened or under development, and that's critically important for bringing major events here, is you have to have hotel capacity. But just the venues, you talk about Ford Field, Comerica Park, Little Caesars Arena, we say 4 teams in 4 blocks, and I don't think there's any other city in North America that has that in their downtown core. And so that, again, makes us unique. It makes us a walkable city for major events. And, that's the other appeal about Detroit, because when you look at, for example, some of the other Final Four cities that have hosted, and their stadiums are not downtown. And so moving people from downtown to the stadium and back, provides a challenge, and, not as convenient as having, everything right in the downtown core.
Dave, how important was it for the Lions to, remove themselves from their old moniker and become a real superpower now, actually?
I think it's been very important, especially when we're looking to shape and change the perception of Detroit, and how we pitch Detroit, and to have the Lions on a national stage for the first couple playoff games, right here from Detroit, and those images and beauty shots of our city, and Detroit being at the forefront of those conversations, and the success that they had. Obviously, it's amplified the excitement of the draft with the Lions having the success they did this year. So we're expecting, of course, a huge contingency of Lions fans downtown, but a ton of other NFL fans from around the Midwest and the country to be here this coming weekend.
If we could only get our Pistons back up to snuff, and maybe you could talk to Mr. Gores and do something about that for us, Dave. Please.
Some things are just out of my control.
All right, my friend.
Fair enough.
That is Dave Bichna, Executive Director of the Detroit Sports Commission, joining us. An absolutely huge weekend for you. I know, we're excited around here. I was telling everybody it's like Christmas Eve. I got the butterflies. Our broadcast, our social media presence is going to be a huge thing for us this weekend. I can't even imagine the pride that you're going to have walking down Woodward Avenue and see what you helped bring to this city. And as somebody from Detroit, I just want to thank you and the entire commission for doing this for all of us.
Thanks. You just gave me goosebumps. I appreciate that.
That's awesome, Dave.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Say hi to Marty Dobeck for me, please.
Will do. Absolutely.
All right.
I'm going to have goosebumps all weekend thanks to you, man. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Can't wait to see you downtown. Hopefully we bump into each other.
See you, Dave.
Thanks, great. All right. Thanks.